right, so when you come to RPR, you're going to see this kind of pinkish, purplish box over here in the corner. It says, what do you want to do today? This is our shortcuts menu, and we give you some of the typical things that people are coming here to do. So you can see the list here. If you don't want to see that, you can close it. If you want to get it back, just go ahead and hit the refresh button on your browser, and it'll pop right back in. Hopefully, there it is. Or you can hit the snooze button. That'll just kind of take it off the screen. But then there's a little kind of purple button up here in the upper left. You can click it and get back to the shortcuts. All right, so let's go ahead and on the shortcuts menu, we're going to look at the RPR map, just to kind of take a quick tour of that. So I'm just going to click tour the RPR map, because there's just tons of great resources here that you can take advantage of. And we'll hit OK, show me. And let's see, we want to select all properties. We've got that here. By the way, that's every property in the area. Listed, unlisted, doesn't matter. The for sale would just be those that are for sale in the MLS. So let's go ahead and put an area in here that we can start with. Hit OK. So we entered the area. Now we're going to hit the search button. And this takes us then to our search results page. And let's see, it says click map view if you're not already there. So again, you could be on list view, and we just want to be on map view. So we'll hit OK next. Now we can tour the map, introducing to the features that are available. So first off is in the upper left, we have draw a shape. So the options there are box, radius, which would be a circle, and polygon, which is kind of a free-form shape that you can draw. Next is using a map pin. This is where you can search drive time or distance. So if you're working with a buyer who says, I want to live within so many minutes of where I work, you can drop the pin on the map and then talk to them and say, you know, do you want to commute by car? What time of the day, what day of the week, how much of a journey? And then you can go ahead and hit search, and it's going to find you every area that is within that drive time. So here's a 15-minute drive, 8 a.m. Monday morning. And then you can go ahead and click on the map and then search for properties within that drive time distance. So it's a really nice feature. The next thing is our custom areas. So this would be any areas that you have already saved or created. And then the last one here is show geographies. So this is where you can overlay the map with these different geographical boundaries. The biggest ones are at the top, and then we kind of go down from there. So some things that's kind of nice is the opportunity zones. This is where you can find areas that are designated as federal opportunity zones, where there's some tax incentive for people to purchase properties in those areas. And those are the ones that are kind of highlighted in this tan area. Other things we have are school districts, we have zip codes. The smallest area is the census block group. So if you really want to get down to a small area, you can do that. Then over here on the right-hand side, we have POIs. That stands for points of interest. And this is where you can overlay the map with different information. So if you wanted to see, well, I'm just going to hit OK next. So if you wanted to see, let's say, where are the daycare centers in the area, you can overlay those on the map. And let me just zoom out a little bit here. Well, I don't see any. Maybe we're not in a good area for that. Let's look at restaurants. There's usually plenty of those around. Okay, so here we got tons of restaurants. So let's just zoom in a little bit more on the map. And a little bit more. And you can see it puts like a little martini glass where there's a restaurant or bar. And you can click on it, and it'll tell you about that, that location, what it is, things like that. So just kind of a nice feature. All right, so let's hide this. And we're going to scroll down. And then down here, we have what we call our heat maps. And this is where you can overlay different data on the screen. So if you want to look at the 12-month change in value, you can see that. Blue indicates increasing value, red is decreasing value. The darker the color, the greater the change. You can also look at the FEMA flood maps, see where the potential flooding might be around a particular property. All right, so that is just kind of again, a quick walkthrough through our short-term menu where we can, just see what's available on the maps. Any questions on any of that? And again, the quickest way to get to the map, just put in a zip code or a city, something like that here on the search page. All right, as far as searching, again, you have all properties, for sale properties, for lease properties, and then you have neighborhood, school information, and market activity information. Over here on the right-hand side is our advanced menu, and it kind of shows you some of the different filters you can use in your searching. Again, the for sale, it's going to be a little bit different as far as the filters. All right, so again, let's just put in our area again, just to kind of get to the map. Oh, before I do that, I wanted to show you the profile page. So I forgot about that. Sorry about that. All right, so when you're on the home page, there's a little gear in the upper right. That's going to take you to your profile. And make sure once you set your account up, you do upload your photograph. You can also upload a logo if you want to. All your various contact information is here. Down here on the bottom left, make sure you select this box, Receive RPR Updates and News. We do updates to RPR about every 3 months or so, once a quarter. And this way you'll get an email as far as updates and information. And by the way, I'll tell you a little more about it later, but the 24th of February, we're going to have a completely new RPR website for you guys to enjoy and use. So that's coming up in just a couple of weeks for you to check out. Over here on the right-hand side is our mobile app. So any devices that you use for the mobile app would be listed there. Up here under settings, this is where you can kind of customize the display of RPR for yourself. Here you can set how long you want a property to be shown as a new listing. Again, it can be anywhere from 1 day to 30 days. Recently sold properties are going to be flagged anywhere from 7 days to 180 days. And then you can also have preferences for the commercial properties as well. Anything you do, make sure you hit save to save your results. All right, so now let's go to our search results. Here we go. All right, so again, we just came back to our map. I just did a search on the area. And here on the geographical boundaries, I'm just going to choose micro neighborhoods, just to kind of get us down to a smaller area. So let me just zoom out a little bit. And you can see some of the boundaries here that we've highlighted. All right, so let's go ahead over here and let's pick this geographical area. This is Stargate subdivision. I'm just going to hit search in this geography here right above the map. And then we can see the properties kind of show up there. All right, so below the map then are those properties. And then above the map, we have a link that says mailing labels. So I'm just going to click that. And this is where you can actually print mailing labels right within RPR. You have 2,000 mailing labels each month that you can use. At the first of the month, it'll be reset back to 2,000. So if you use them all month, get back to the first of the next month, you'll get 2,000 more. So you can either download a CSV file, that's kind of like an Excel file of the contacts, then import that into some program, or you can download a PDF, and we have 3 different Avery label type formats that you can use. Down here, you can customize how the labels will look. You can either use the property or the tax billing address. And then the address can be either the owner's name, as you can see, Gary Whiteside, or it can be owner's name and or current resident, or it can just be current resident, or you can put in some custom name that you want to type in there. Then down below here, we have filters. So you can see 36 properties, and that's with no filtering. except excluding those on the do not mail list. If we only want owner occupied properties, we can see that takes it down to 31. If we just want absentee owners, in other words, those that are renting, there's 5 of those. And we can also exclude any listed properties. So again, lots of great filters so you get just to the people that you want. As I mentioned, you have 2,000 labels per month, but once you download these labels, you've got them on your computer. So next month, maybe the month after, you can still reprint those and then download 2,000 new labels. So it's kind of a nice feature to take advantage of. If you do want more than 2,000, you can get those at a discounted rate. Any questions? All right, I guess we're good. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at a property. And this is a property that's not for sale. It's just a home in the neighborhood. You can see it's not listed for sale. And let's say you're going to go out and do a listing presentation. All right, so we're going to take a look at this property and see all the great information that we can access. So first off, we have the price that the property most recently sold for. Here we have the RVM. Again, that's that estimated value that RPR comes up with for the property. Here you can see the Rvm Confidence Score. That just tells us how good do we feel about that number. So again, even with 5 stars, which is the most, don't consider that a bullseye price. Think of it as a ballpark number because the computer doesn't know, is this property unbelievably beautifully maintained, you know, immaculate, no weeds in the grass, beautiful flower beds, nor does it know that it's a stinking hoarder's nightmare that's absolutely filthy. You know, so again, you got to kind of take that number as a starting point and then kind of refine it up or down based on the market and the property conditions. Moving over to the right, we can see there's a tool here called Valuate. This is a really detailed tool that you can sit down with the buyer and run the numbers. Are they purchasing the property to live in it, to rent it out? Are they going to flip it? Are there multiple investors? Are they paying cash? Are they financing it? How much do they want to spend on rehabbing it? You can run all those numbers and it puts these nice spreadsheets together. And again, they can make adjustments too, but you're always in the loop on that. So again, it's a really great resource. We have an RPR class that's just on that tool. There's so many options there. Over here on the right-hand side, we have a map. I'm just going to click Bigger Map. And you can see all of those tools that we looked at earlier are on this map as well. The heat maps are down here. And let's just go ahead and zoom out a little bit. All right, so you can see our subject property is right here. And then these are all the homes in the neighborhood. And you can see that there's a dollar amount there. That's that RVM, that estimated value of what that property might be worth. Here's a greenhouse. That's a recently sold property. But it's kind of nice. Before you go out and do your listing presentation, you can see, is this the most expensive home in the neighborhood? Is it the cheapest home? Kind of gives you some information there. We can also look at the aerial view of the area. And one thing that I'll just mention is RPR kind of drops the little icon right in the center of the lot. So if you want to move that to kind of better place it, all you have to do is just click on the little icon, choose Move Pin, and then you can go ahead and slide that to place it the way that you want. Now, anything you do in RPR, it's only changed for you. It's not like the MLS where if you upload a picture, everybody sees it. It's strictly just for your use. So anything you do, again, that's just for you. So again, we can kind of take a look at our property again, even before we go out there. We can see it's a nice corner lot, nice front drive, some nice trees. So again, we can really check it out. All right, so let's go back to our smaller map. And then let's kind of just scroll down a little bit. So over here on the right-hand side, we have historical records for this property. I'm just going to click Compare. And so here we can see when the property was listed in the MLS. This is back from September. And then over here on this side, we're comparing it to the public record data that we're receiving from the county. If there were other historical records, we'd be able to see those as well. Over here on the left-hand side, these are the historical MLS photos. We can also look at the Google Street View. So we can kind of take a look at this property, you know, maybe scan around, look up and down the street. Below that is where we can upload our own photo. So if we want to upload a photo that we took of the property, we can do that here. All we have to do is just find the photo on our computer and then upload it. And then once you do that though, make sure you hit this edit button, and then you can select use for report covers. So that way you can save that property and it'll appear on your reports. So I'm just going to hit save, and now we've got the photo set in there. Below that, we have the homeowner's information. We have the home facts. So this public facts column, that's the data we're getting from the county. We have the listing facts from the MLS. And then over here on the right-hand side is where you can put in your own information. So there's no total baths here under public facts. I'm just going to put in 2 so we remember that there are 2 baths in this property. And again, any changes I make just for my use. Down here we can see the estimated home value. So we can see this property's value, how that's changed over time, as well as the area. We have interior, exterior features, location information. Here are the schools that service this property. And these are links. We can go into more details about those schools. Here's the tax data for the property. And then the deed recording. So we can check that out here as well. The next tab is called the History tab. Again, this is the same property. We're just looking at more data. Here we can see the past several years of information. Here's the assessed value, the fair market value. Here's that recent sale. Down here, the prior sales transaction. So here's the public recording of that sale, as well as the listing recording. I think somebody put us on hold. All right, here we have the tax information for the property. And if there were any mortgage records or distressed history, we'd have that here as well. So again, tons of great information that you can take advantage of. The next tab is called the Refined Values tab. And this is where you can refine the value of this property. So we start in the upper right with that RVM value. And then over here on the left-hand side is the data, and we've got some tools that we can use to refine the value. So here we can adjust the basic facts, beds, baths, square footage, things like that. Below that is where we can add any home improvements. So as you talk to the seller, you know, they might be saying, oh, we did this, we improved that, we added this. So anything that they've mentioned, go ahead and put it in. So we're going to say that they added a deck last June, and they spent $10,000 on it. So we can see in today's dollars, that deck is worth about $5,600, $5,700. So it's not the full 10 that they spent, but it does show you that it does carry some value. You can add multiple improvements here. You can also use this if they're saying, well, I'm going to be updating the kitchen or the bathroom. How much are you going to spend? And then you can show them what kind of a return they might get for that improvement. You can also add any needed improvements. So as you're walking through the property, maybe you see a window that's rotted or some water damage, you can add that in here and it'll actually subtract from the home value. Down here, we can make some adjustments based on the market and the property condition. So we can see here, let's say that the market is still pretty strong in the area. We can move that slider. Let's say the property condition is a little bit nicer than the other ones in the area. So we can see we started out at that 216. We made our adjustment for the deck and for the property and market conditions. So we think the value is closer to 230,000. So again, we really didn't do a CMA. We just kind of looked at this property and we made some adjustment of value. Any questions I can answer on that? Okay, we will go on to the next thing, which is the Comp Analysis tab. And this is where we have more of a CMA type valuation tool that you can use. And we've got 2 of those here. One is called the Comparative Analysis, build an estimate based on comps. And the other is Sales Comparison Analysis, a more detailed evaluation. Now this first one is kind of like a simple CMA, and the second one is a more detailed where you can actually make dollar adjustments. We're just going to look at this first one and we'll start there. So first is compare the facts. So we just want to make sure we have all the correct information in here, beds, baths, square footage, and you can see I added that 2 baths here under your changes. We'll go ahead and say everything looks good. We'll close and go on to step number 2, where we can search for comps. So again, you can, if you have a property you know would be a good comp, you can add that in here using the address or the MLS ID, or you can search for comps. So here you can refine your search based on the property type, the property status. Recent sales can be anywhere from 1 week to 18 months, or you can put in a specific date range. And then you have some different criteria that you can use to refine your search. Now you saw that the county isn't supplying us with the bathroom, so you maybe want to uncheck that amount. Let's put in a price range here just so we don't have too many properties. And then also we can zoom in or zoom out on the map to refine our search as well. So let's go ahead and hit search. And we can see that there are 7 properties that have come up as recently sold. And we have 2 that are active listings. And you can sort this by any of these columns. Currently it's sorted by proximity. So the closer it is to our subject property, the higher it's going to be on the list. Now we can look at the properties here and we can just click on those. And if there's one that we want to use, we can go ahead and choose that. We can just say, use this as a comp, and it's going to then add it to our list. We can also come down here and we can select the properties right from our list, and it's going to drop them into this basically looks like a little shopping cart. Now you're going to be more scientific about choosing these comps than I am. I'm just kind of demonstrating how you would do it, but you can really research these properties by clicking on the link. You can look at the pictures, look at the information, just to make sure that they're comparable. All right, so let's go ahead and hit Update Valuation and close. And then we move on to step number 3, where we can make some adjustments. So here we have our subject property on the left, and then the 3 comps that we chose on the right. Now again, this is kind of that simple CMA. The question here is, how does this property compare to the subject? And then there's this slider from worse to better, and then somewhere in between. And you'll notice as I move this slider, it's adjusting the value of our subject property up or down, again, depending on the adjustment that we make. All right, so we're gonna say that this one is somewhat not as good as our subject property. Well, actually, it's better. I moved it the wrong way. This one here, we're gonna say is somewhat worse. And this one we're gonna say is pretty comparable. So again, we've made our adjustments. Down here is a little note box if we wanted to put our notes in here as to why we made the adjustment. Now the other CMA tool there, you can actually make dollar adjustments. So again, based on, let's say, the lot size here, we could add or subtract some value to make it more comparable, maybe based on the year of construction, things like that. So again, the other tool has a lot more adjustments you can make. This one is just nice and easy. So we'll go ahead and save that. We can review our analysis here. So 231,726 is our refined value here. We can present that as a range. We can round that down to 230. We can round it up to 235, whatever we want to do. And then we can come and put a nice report together. So on our reports page, we have all kinds of really nice reports. And I'll just kind of tell you just a little bit about each of those. The first one is the property report. That's something you would use with a buyer. It's going to have information on this property and then also about the neighborhood, some demographic information, economic data, things like that. The seller's report, which we're going to do in just a moment, that has information on this property and information about the real estate market in the area. It's a report that you would typically use with a seller. We have a 1-page property flyer. We have the mini property report, which again is great with buyers. especially if they're kind of in the early stages of looking at properties. The valuation workbook, that's a much more detailed report. If you use that more advanced CMA, you can use the valuation workbook, and it really kind of states the case as to why you came up with that particular property value. Then we have the market activity report. This is a great report that you can use to reach out to your sphere of influence. It's going to show, you pick an area on the map, might be a subdivision or a small town, whatever it might be. And then you can put this report together. It's going to show any actives for sale, any pending offers, any recent sales, any price reductions, any distressed properties, any expired listings. Just going to give a really nice picture about what's happening in the real estate market in this area. Again, a great way to reach out to past customers, people from church or civic groups that you might be part of. Just a really nice report. And it's also a good report that you can post onto your Facebook page or your other social media. Then we have a neighborhood report, which is again going to have information about the area. That's again a nice report with buyers. And the school report as well. You can either do it on all the schools in the area or just particular schools. All right, so I'm just going to select more details here under seller's report. And here we can see all the different sections of the report are listed here. Now, right at the very top, it says custom pages. This is where you can upload your own content into RPR to be included in the reports. And you do that over here on the right-hand side where it says manage custom pages. I'm just going to click the link. And now I can upload up to 5 PDF files. And each PDF file has to be 10 meg or less. But if you've had a 10 meg PDF file, that is a really big file. Could have like 30 pages of content, so if you really want to upload a lot of stuff, you can do that. And then you can just hit add, and then you look on your computer for one of those PDFs that you want to add. So let's add this one, 20 tips for selling your home in 2021. And then you can decide, do you want to put that at the beginning of the report or at the end of the report? So let's go ahead and save this. And now you can see that that's going to be right at the beginning of the report. And then these two custom pages, my profile page and my testimonials, those will be at the end of the report. And then the rest of the sections of the report are here. You can see a couple of these things are unchecked. RPR remembers any preferences that you've done. So let's say you don't want to have this section, just uncheck the box. It won't be in the report. And when you come back to this report next time, it won't be in there either. So if you want to add it back in, just check the box. Right down here is where you can really streamline the report. If you've ever run one of these seller's reports, they can be really long, like 60 pages or more. This is where you can really pare that down. First off, it says subject property photos to include. I would do either just 2 pages or the main photo only. Limit market activity sections to, I would choose the 4 properties rather than 8. And then this one says include side-by-side comparisons and individual property pages in market activity sections. I would only do the side-by-side. If you include the home facts pages, you're going to have a detailed sheet on every active, every pending, every expired, every recent sale. Just going to add tons of extra pages to the report. So again, just try it only side by side and see how that works for you. And then the last thing I wanted to show you here is this checkbox. It says suppress estimated value for subject property. So again, we started with this property. I think the price was about $215. We made some adjustment of value and we think the property is worth closer to $230. So we don't want to show that $216 price. We just want to show the value we came up with. So if that's the case, go ahead and suppress the estimated value. Then they won't even see that other amount. All right, and then down here, you can personalize the report for your client. And then the delivery method. The first option here is to download a PDF of that report. Or you can email it from your email address. Now, if you download the PDF, that gives you an opportunity to kind of review it before you send it. It can also, maybe you want to delete a page or two, things like that. So that's my recommendation. The nice thing though, if you do email it from RPR, it's going to give you a little timestamp to show you when that customer actually opened the report. So not when they open the email, but when they actually opened your report. Down here is the run report option. And then if you've run any reports in RPR, you know, it plays that little like ding dong doorbell sound when the reports are ready. If you want to turn that off, there's like a little doorbell here up near the reports button where you can turn that on or off. All right, so once you generate the reports, they're going to be here in this left-hand column. They'll stay in this column for 30 days, and then after that, they'll drop off the system. So if you want to save the report, just click the little orange circle, and then you can download the report to save it to your computer. If it's an older report that's going to be expiring, you can rerun it to, you know, get the fresh data, update the timestamp, or you can even share it easily onto Facebook. So again, that market activity report is a really nice one to share on your social media. All right, so let's take a look at the seller's report that I generated. So again, here at the top, you typically would either have your brokerage branding or the association branding. Here's the photo that we uploaded. Here's my photo, my logo, all my contact information. So make sure you update your profile so you have all that in there. This report is 25 pages. So again, you can see we really pared it down. So it's a nice size report. So let's kind of scroll through here. Here's the past sale price. Had we not turned off the RVM, that would have been here as well. And then here you can see the estimated values that we came up with for the property. Here's the home facts for the property, the public facts, and the listing facts from historically. Here's the extended home facts, interior, exterior features, the property history, assessed value, the last deed recording. Here's the market activity for the area. What are other home values in the area? Here's some nice charts and graphs. And all of these charts and graphs have a little paragraph describing it. It gives the source of the data and then how often it's updated. So again, some really nice charts and graphs that you can use with your customer. And just a couple of mouse clicks and we put this really nice report together. Here are the comps that we chose, a side-by-side comparison of the comps. Here's the market activity in the area. So here are the active listings, pending offers, recent sales, distressed property, some expired listings. Here's the recommended pricing strategy page that we can go through with our customer, and then the seller's proceeds page. Then we've got just a quick page on the data in RPR, and you can exclude this if you don't want to include it. And then here's where I uploaded my profile and then my client testimonial. So again, that content that I added to the report. So just a really nice report, a couple mouse clicks, and we have this great report that we can, again, we can print it, we can email it, we can just go through it on our computer during our listing presentation, however we want to do it. Any questions on that or anything on the properties? Oh, I see some questions here now in the chat box. I'm sorry, I didn't see these before. Let's see, somebody, Beulah asked about the mailing labels. Are these labels that can be pulled off to stick on the mailing? So yes, if you bought like a package of those Avery labels from the office store or office supply store, you can feed those into your computer. And we've got 3 different styles of Avery labels. Depends how big the labels are, but yeah, you can stick them right on there. And let's see. Are the improvement cost estimates the same value that most appraisers would use? So yeah, so when you talk to the homeowner and they say, you know, why I added this deck to the property, you know, just ask them how much did it cost. Now, maybe they did it themselves, or maybe they got done professionally by a remodeler. Even if they did it themselves, chances are they did get a quote from a remodeler to say, well, I'll do it, but it'll cost you $10,000. Well, maybe they did it themselves and they only spent $5, on the materials. But go ahead and put the 10 in there because that would be the, the actual cost. All right, so let's keep rolling. Just a couple more things I want to show you. First off is we have the Rpr Mobile App. This is something you can use for your on your phone, either Android or iPhone, or on your tablet, either the iPad or an Android tablet. And you just want to go to the App Store and then download the Rpr Mobile App. So it's Rpr Mobile. And then it's going to put it on your device. So let me see if I can share my phone here that we can see it on the computer. All right, so do you see my phone there? Just wave if you can see it. All right, sounds good. Thanks, James. All right, so right there in the middle is the Rpr app. So I'm just going to click on that. And what's nice about the mobile app is it's using the GPS on your phone to say, this is where you are and this is what's around you. So right now it's saying within a half mile of me in Olive Branch, there's 2 properties for sale, 2 new listings, 4 recent sales, and 0 distressed properties. Now, if you're in a kind of a, you know, more of a, like a city or a neighborhood area, half a mile might be a great amount of search. But if you're out in a more rural area, you probably want a bigger area. So up here in the upper left is this little gear. That's your settings. And then if you come down here under user settings, you can change that search area from a half mile here on the far right, all the way up to 10 miles on the far left. I'm sorry, half a mile on the far left, 10 miles on the far right. And then you can go anywhere in between as you move that dot. So let's just set it for 1 mile. I'm just going to go ahead and click over here in this dark area to the right, and that will save my, my change. All right, so now we can see we're searching a 1 mile area, and we can see the activity in this area. Now, if I swipe to the left,
Ernie, I'm
yes.
sorry, Ernie, they can't see your phone. All they see is the screen, I believe.
Oh, it's just like a blank screen?
We're seeing your slides still.
Do you see it? Does it look like the phone, Olive Branch?
No.
Oh, you're right. Okay, hang on a second.
Yeah, it just shows your PowerPoint.
Yep. I got to share it differently. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Now, do you see the phone?
It's blank right now. It's just a black screen.
All right, we'll try it a different way. Let's see, share screen. All right, so let's unshare. And then we will share again. Now do you see it?
Yes, now we see a phone.
All right, there's more than one way to do this. All right, so let me go back and show you what I just showed you, but you didn't see. So again, right here, you can see it's searching 1 mile. Up here in the upper left is the settings. So here you want to just come down to user settings. And then again, you can change this nearby from a half mile all the way up to 10 miles, and we'll set it at 1 mile. And then just click in this dark area to the right to save your changes. Okay, so now we can see how many, we have 36 properties for sale, 6 new listings, 19 recent sales. Now, if I swipe to the left, here we can see the median estimated home value, list price, sale price, and change in value. If I swipe once more, this takes us to our search page. So again, we can search based on address, city, zip, MLS ID. We can even search by the homeowner's name, all kinds of great searching available in Rpr. So I'm just going to hit the little home button here, go back to our home page, and let's just click on 36 properties for sale. All right, so here we can see this is a 1 mile circle, and again, based on where we're at. And let's see, let's go up here to where it says list. And we're going to look at a list of those properties. Now we can sort this under sort by any number of different ways. Currently, it's sorted by most expensive. So let's just kind of scroll down the list. If we see a property we're interested in, I can just kind of swipe across and look at different pictures. I can keep going. If I want to click on these little 3 dots, now I can do a report. I can save the property. I can add a note or photo, or I can just right away call the listing agent. So again, some really nice features there that I can take advantage of. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at one of these properties. Let's go back up here to one of these that had a nice picture. This one looks nice. Okay, so we can take a look at the property, at the photos. So we can see that there's 7 pages with 4 photos each. If I click on this individual photo, we can look at those individually. Let's just go ahead and scroll down. So here we have the list price. Here's the RVM value. We can click RVM details. So we can see we have 4 out of 5 stars. Beds, baths, square footage. Here's the listing agent. Again, if I want to call them, I can just click on call agent, send an email. Here's the agent remarks, the property description. Here's our map. I'm just going to hit enlarge map. And then if we want to, we can look at the traffic counts in the area. No, nothing available, so we probably have to zoom out a little bit. Let's try that again. I don't see any. All right, well, we won't worry about that. So you can load those in. Below the map, we can see it says nearby for sale. So if we want to see some additional properties in the area, maybe we're working with a buyer and they want to know, well, what else is there? We can do that. We can also look at nearby comps. So similar properties, maybe that's sold in the area. And below that is create comp analysis. So just like we did on the computer, we can do a quick, easy CMA here on our phone. All right, let's kind of keep scrolling here. Here's the homeowner's information. Here's the home facts. So this is the listing data. Here's the public record data. And we also have the your changes if we want to make any changes there. Estimated home value, price change history, prior sales transaction. So here's the listing history. Here's the public record history. Here are the schools that service that property. Interior, exterior features. Here's the mortgage record. So we can see that back in 2013, they took out a loan for $117,000, and that was a 30-year mortgage. Here's the tax data. And then at the very bottom, again, we can call the agent, we can add notes, or we can easily generate a report. So let's say you want to do a report for the property, just hit the report button, choose the report that you're interested in doing, and then you can just go ahead and walk through that report. And then once you generate the report, you can then easily share that. So let me just bring up a report that I recently generated. Right here's one. I'm just going to hit view report. So let's go ahead and look at the report. So again, I can kind of scroll through it. If there's a page I don't want, I can highlight it, I can delete it. And then if I want to, I can send this report right from my phone. So I just hit the share button. And then I can send it either as a text message, attach it, or I can send it via email. So again, very easy to share right from my phone. So again, if you're going to be out touring, or I don't know if you have open houses anymore, but you could have these reports all set to go and then just have them on your device. I'm just going to go back to the map real quick. Just want to show you some of the features here. Down here, we have these 3 little dots. If you click on that, you have some different options. Over here in the lower left is map view. So we can look at a satellite image rather than the road map. We want to change that. Another thing we can look at is here the traffic counts. So on this road, I can see Goodman Road, 24,000 cars per day. Over here on Old Highway 78, 8,800 cars per day. We can look at, let's see, we can do a travel time calculation, a distance calculation. We can draw a search area right on the map if we want to, just to search right in that area. We can show the parcel lines so we can see where the parcel boundaries are for the properties. And we can even look at schools in the area. We can see those on the map. If I click on one, it's going to tell me about that school. Now, what's really nice too, again, is you've got these buttons on the bottom under recent. We can look at any properties that we recently have seen, any searches we've conducted, any reports that we've generated. And then also here under this saved would be any saved properties that we have as well. Any questions on the mobile app that I can answer for anybody? It's a free download. If you haven't put it on your device, please do so. It's a great resource to have RPR right at your disposal, no matter where you are.
Hey, Ernie, I think there's a couple of questions down in the chat.
Let's see. Can we access training on the features you presented today? Yes. So let me stop my phone here. Let's go back to our PowerPoint. Do you see my PowerPoint again?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. All right, so as I mentioned, we do have the refreshed RPR website that's going to be coming out the 24th of February. And we do have kind of a preview of that that's going to be coming out as well. So let me post this link in the chat here real quick. So if you want to check that out, we're going to have some webinars that you can take advantage of. So do check that out. Again, a preview of the new RPR. And then somebody had asked about training classes. We do have that as well. So let me share this link with you guys in the chat. And this is where you can come, and we've got all kinds of great resources. So again, we have live webinars that you can watch, and you can see the dates right here. So this is kind of a new one to RPR, listing presentation, opportunity zones, things like that. We have some on-demand webinars that you can watch at any time, day or night. We have these tutorials. These are not much shorter videos that you can watch. The training classes are typically about an hour. These would be much shorter. You also have ebooks here that you can take advantage of. These you can either download as a PDF or you can print. They're typically anywhere between 20 and 50 pages, so these are very detailed. And then we also have quick start guides. These are just a two-sided worksheet that gives you step-by-step how to do certain things. Pricing a property, open house guides, things like that. So again, all kinds of great resources. Do check that out. I put the link in the chat there. Any other questions I can answer?
Somebody had a question about the traffic count. How do you get the traffic count?
Yep. So when we're on the map there, those 3 dots, just click that and then you can drop the traffic counts in there.
Okay, they said thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Anybody else? I don't see any other ones in the chat.
Well, if any do come up, just pass them along, and then you can always shoot me an email or give me a call, and I'm happy to answer those.
Okay, perfect.
And then let me just put that email back up here at the beginning. If you'd like to get any of the resources that I mentioned, again, it's Ernie B plus training at narrpr.com.